Hey everybody, it's Dylan. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you to everybody who has been encouraging me to get better through COVID. I'm really trying. I have to say, I finally felt a little up to and back to myself today because I finally got to really process a lot of what happened during my trip at 90's Con, because I think that's probably where I got COVID, either there or the airport back from Tampa. So literally since we got back Monday, I've just been so sick, and then of course Tuesday we tested positive for COVID. So at 90's Con, I got to meet Jodi Benson, the voice of Ariel from The Little Mermaid, Paige O'Hara, the voice of Belle from Beauty and the Beast, Linda Larkin, the voice of Jasmine, speaking voice, Judy Kuhn, the singing voice of Pocahontas, and Susan Egan, the voice of Meg, and also for you Beauty and the Beast fans, the original Belle of Broadway who originated the role. So such an amazing star cast, and I was able to interact with all of them. And I got a lot of cool pictures and videos to show everybody. I'm so excited. So just a few things before we look at that though. This was my first time flying. I'd never flown before, and I've always been very scared of heights, but it was this experience to get me to meet other Disney fans and then also meet Disney princesses that got me on a plane. Well, it was mainly Paige O'Hara. So I got on the plane, we flew from Ohio to Florida, and honestly, it wasn't that bad at all. I don't know why I've been scared to fly for so many years now. The only thing that really bothered me a little bit was takeoff, but I guess that's kind of what everybody has to deal with. And then once you're up in the air and you get going and then it's over, you really don't think about it after that. So we went to 90's Con Friday and Saturday this past weekend. It was located in Tampa at the Tampa Convention Center. And the first princess I met with was Susan Egan. And Susan was so wonderful. I got her to sign my Beauty and the Beast on Broadway Belle limited edition doll from Mattel. So for you doll lovers, I'm sure that you might recognize this doll, but I have it here to show you. But she was so astounded to see this doll. She was like, I don't even have this. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have this, Susan Egan? Like, you're the one person who should have this. And she's like, I don't have it. So it was like, that doesn't make any sense. But anyways, here's the video of her, and of course, this was the first celebrity I have really ever met. So I was so starstruck. And whenever she asked me to sing with her, I just did not know what to even think. So I don't even know how I got the words of home out. Like, I was barely standing. I'm not gonna lie. But it gets better. I level out eventually.
Oh! I have to take pictures. I don't even have this. Really? Yeah, they never give me anything. I feel like you'd be the one person.
Sorry.
No, I don't have it. What? Yes. This is crazy. Are you a friend? Okay. Nice to meet you. Do you know what Disney gave us? Okay, and I love Disney. They've been my whole life. Okay. Yeah. When the album came out, they came around and gave us each a cassette tape. They did not even give us a CD. Like, we couldn't spend $20. Are you watching Foundation? No. Okay, it's on Apple TV, and Terrence is the lead, and he is amazing.
Yes,
and
I agree.
To watch it. Okay, tell me what I'm doing. Dylan, am I signing the box? Am I signing inside here? And I think maybe on silver? I think definitely let's see. Silver looks pretty nice. The gold, I'm wondering if it's going to be too dark. I think the gold might be dark. I think even though this is cool, what do you think? Look at this. I feel like I'm on. I think it's great. And is there something you would like me to say specifically? No, you were? That's so funny.
You know,
They're always
status.
And to you, yes.
Yes, to me. This came from like a role play. I got it for years. I never thought I'd ever be bringing it all the way to Florida to meet you, so it's crazy. I also love your studio Ghibli voice. Okay.
No. It's okay. I'm going to cite it slowly so it works well. I know. I'm obsessed.
I got the t-shirt in the morning. I'm going to do the duo. And I'm going to be belled out.
Please be belled out. I love that so much. That's going to be amazing.
So we'll have the video poses. It's beautiful.
There you go. Do a selfie. Let's do it.
Yes.
Please, let's do it.
Okay.
What do you
Go for it.
Oh, sure. Let's do all of it. Are you recording?
Yeah, let's go.
Is this home? This is where I should learn to be happy. Never dreamed that a home could be dark and cold. I was
Oh my gosh, I'm fangirling.
even as we grow old, home should be where the heart is. Never heard so true. My heart's far, but home is true. Oh, we'll see you tomorrow.
Here is my Beauty and the Beast on Broadway limited edition doll here, and I had Susan sign the cover, that way we could see it on the outside and it wouldn't bleed onto like the inner packaging or anything once the cover was placed on. So it says, "To Dylan, with all my love, Susan Egan." Next I was able to meet Paige O'Hara. Her booth was right next to Susan Egan's, as it should be, in my opinion, as two Belles deserve to be next to each other. But Paige O'Hara is my favorite Disney princess, my favorite Broadway actress. She has so many beautiful recordings that you guys need to check out if you're not familiar with, such as her South Pacific recording and her Showboat recording. So beautiful. She has such a beautiful voice, comparable to Judy Garland, I would say Ethel Merman, or Julie Andrews. And yes, through the years, voices change, and I think everyone is kind of aware of just how many of the Disney princess voice actresses, their voices change over time. But you know, the work that these women have done, and the work that Paige has done, I mean, is just so legendary. So it was such an honor for me to discuss those things with her and just have that special moment. She even says, "Wow, that's a fan," you know, referring to he knows all of my old recordings. You know, I was telling her how on the way to the airport we listened to her sing Jerry Herman, so it was just so lovely. But so Paige autographed two things for me. So the second thing we're gonna save for last, because that's the special thing. But the first thing I had her sign, well, I didn't make her sign it, but you know what I mean, was the Mattel Signature Edition Belle doll from the 90s. It says, "To Dylan, love you, Paige O'Hara, Belle."
Judy Garland, Jerry Herman, all of your work. Oh, and your South Pacific recording, of course. Your Nellie Corbush is amazing.
Thank you so much.
Did you sing in Mary Martin's Cookies?
I did.
I figured.
And Bill Hammerstein oversaw the production. And Mary Rogers oversaw the production.
Of course.
So that's why we put stuff back in that was cut out.
Oh, like my Go Back Home,
Yes.
that number. Oh, yes, I'm so glad they put that back in. Like,
No.
this makes such a difference.
It does.
Act 2, I think. But I wish there was recordings. All we have is your voice. Like, unless if there's a bootleg VHS somewhere of you as Nellie.
You know what? I did it for 14 months in Australia.
Yes.
So that would be the one. However, I did play it with Robert Goulet here in the States.
Oh,
There might be one somewhere.
maybe somewhere. Yeah, your honey bun. Oh my gosh. Yes.
Wow.
That's a fan. I think the only version that's the entire school.
You're all he ever talks about, so he knows.
Oh my gosh, I mean, you're the household. Yeah. But I brought this from Ohio all the way, and I've had this for so many years. I never thought I would ever get to produce it. Here we are.
I love it. It's a beautiful. Let's make it perfect. How do you want to sign? Where do you want to sign from?
Well, if you would be pretty for
I think so.
I was scared if, you did it on the plastic, it would maybe be kind of sharp. So I
I'm
think
going to ask him, because I think the yellow paint would look amazing.
yes. Yellow would be really pretty, I think. Like matching the
Paint
dress.
on there.
I think so. Well,
Good. Test it. You want to test it?
it's just this texture.
Okay. All right. So what is Dylan? Do you want?
I don't know if those are And I heard you know Liza and Warner as well.
Yeah, I met Liza. I know Warner. Jerry Herman and I, we sang for him.
Oh, you and Michael's rendition of Love. Oh my gosh. I see Michael walking around and I'm like, that's Paige's husband. I know it is.
You should go up and say hi.
I wasn't going to creep him out and be like that person.
No, he would love it.
But yeah, on the way to the airport this morning, I listened to your Jerry Herman Loving You album. And I was like, we have to get in the Paige series.
Oh, that is so sweet. Wow.
I know, right? I'm just a tag along.
I have a whole room of Disney dolls that collects Disney store dolls. And I have the whole Beauty and the Beast display. But I had to pick one that was pretty and safe for travel.
It's perfect. It's like a collector's item now.
Yes, absolutely. It's from the 90's. So around the time when the 90's came out, Mattel was making Disney dolls.
Yeah. I gotta get a picture.
Yes. So.
Next actress I met was Linda Larkin, who is the speaking voice of Jasmine in Aladdin. And I will just say what a kind soul that Linda Larkin is. Such a sweet voice. I mean, who else was she meant to be other than Jasmine? Her voice is so interesting and just has that particular kind of tone to it. You know what I'm talking about, and you'll hear it here in just a moment in the video. But so kind, and just talk to me for a long time and discuss things. She really thinks that the Aladdin animated series needs to be on Disney Plus. And I think I agree. So Linda Larkin, let's make that happen. But she also listened to the story about how I found this Jasmine doll for her to sign. I wasn't expecting to find it. I found it at an antique store, went out shopping with my friends, and I was thinking I wasn't gonna have something to bring for her to sign because all of my Jasmine limited edition dolls are so big and so expensive. I couldn't, risk taking those all the way to Florida on a plane with me. But I was able to find really one of the best collector Jasmine dolls, I think, by Mattel, is this holiday Princess Jasmine. And she wrote in teal, which is what we chose, to Dylan, love Linda Larkin, Princess Jasmine.
Hi, Dylan. Nice to meet you.
You have such an interesting voice. I've always thought it's so princess, it's like Jasmine is like in your DNA or something.
I do it when I first met her. I get her. I just felt like a connection.
Yes, you are a dancer. I've done this really great research on my
Well, I never trained
my favorite.
Now, have you seen it on Disney Plus?
No, it's not on
I
there.
didn't think so.
There's some
I
type
think
of
so.
limbo. It's in limbo.
I just, there's probably a backlog of things and they're opening them up.
But they have Jody's show on there. Your show on there
I
now.
think it'll happen. I think they just planned the release of things. So.
Yes, and you were House of Mouse sometimes
Yes.
too. That's not on there either. Like,
Not yet.
they need to get on that. Because I can sit down and watch that. Like binge it. Like it's.
It'll get there. I believe it will. It'll all end up there. For
Yes.
sure.
Just talk to Bob Iger.
Yes, when I see Bob next, I'll be missing a few things.
Yes, if all of you gang up on him, that he right. Yes. And Scott's here.
I know.
Oh,
He's going to be right here.
Oh, dang. I was like, we better invite you guys next to each other.
I just saw him at the hotels. Here, close by.
Are all the princesses staying in the same hotel? How does that work? Is that
I know.
confidential? You guys go out for drinks after? Oh!
You got to every night.
And someone told us a drink was so funny. Someone said, we didn't know who it was, but they knew who we were. We're like, oh my God.
I seen it on Instagram and I was so mad. I wanted to be that person. And now I'm like,
It was on that
someone posted it.
last night.
I think it was you, Jody, and Paige.
Yes.
Like, someone posted it. I don't know who it was.
Some woman posted and he was so upset. He was like, why wasn't I there?
I'm just going to have to go bar hopping. I don't know. Looking for Linda, Jody, and Paige.
Wow. Having an early date tomorrow. So
Oh.
today we didn't start till 4. So.
Oh, right.
He had recovery time.
I know. I think she just
Wow, like it's so
tell me the
amazing.
story about this.
Well, I was looking for things for your son because I have so many dolls in my collection. I have a whole room full of Disney dolls.
Probably 500 plus Disney limited edition dolls,
I have
easy.
pictures.
In addition to merchandise and everything else. So I'm just the plus one.
Yes, it's we got a first story in the house. It's about 100 years old. And upstairs there's like this bonus room that's like the size of a living room.
Oh, wow.
So it's IKEA and got showers. There's just dolls.
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
I have so many Jasmines, but like I didn't have anything that would travel because we came from Ohio. Yeah, we flew here to see you guys. So I got on eBay and was looking at this doll and I'm like, well, I didn't get here in time for Linda to see it, and so we went thrifting and we found it. It's like,
You found this here in Tampa?
no, I'm thrifting back in Ohio, but we weren't looking specifically for this. And Lucas,
I just told him, I said it's meant to be.
he looked over and he's like, there's something for Linda Larkin. I was like, what? So I had to buy it. So I got dolls for everyone to see. So one for everybody. I'm like, Judy's going to be so, or not Judy, Linda's going to be so mad if I can't find a Jasmine doll. And here it is. So, yes. Oh, dear.
As much as white, but this will go really want I don't know.
No, I kind of like the steel color.
I mean, this is Jasmine's color.
Yes, and this is like a Christmas Jasmine. Like it's like it's like nice. So I don't know. I kind of like that, or I don't know.
He's indecisive. You'll have to pick.
You have to convince me. So I'm gonna come with you next time. I mean, then I could just and then
It would be amazing.
maybe
People would
someday.
love
Oh, yeah.
to have her.
I'll have to take this to the Philippines now.
Right? That would be so great. All right, so we're down to these two.
I think I really like it.
Okay, let's do the blue.
So you think
He wants the tea. He doesn't.
It's you, I know it.
There's one lush in every bunch.
It's Susan Egan, that's who it is. She had those cabaret days. That's what it is. And I heard you tried out for Dirty Dancing. Was that something? I did my homework.
You sure did. I actually had a dance tryout
Yes, go ahead. Go right ahead. It's oh yes.
It does pop.
Oh, we'll let it dry.
And it goes.
We'll let it just air out. Yeah. Okay.
What else?
I then was able to meet Judy Kuhn, who is the singing voice of Pocahontas in Pocahontas. Such a beautiful voice, and I will say it hasn't changed since Pocahontas came out. She literally sounds like Pocahontas when she speaks to you. She was so very kind. She allowed me to record, which is something she wasn't sure of. My friend discussed with her that she hasn't done a whole lot of conventions, so I think the reason that all of these princesses were here together at 90's Con is because they all kind of said, well, we're gonna do it, so why don't you come with us, and then you come with us. So I thank her so much for letting me record our small conversation, and she told me about her current work that she's working on. So it is an off-Broadway play, and I think that you need to look it up on her Instagram because she's currently posting about it, and it's currently in the works. But so she signed for me Pocahontas Feathers in the Wind special edition doll from Mattel in the 90's, and this packaging is beautiful. Of course, this came out around the time the movie came out. To Dylan, Hart, Judy Kuhn. And someday, whenever Irene Bedard does another con, I want to get her signature on here. That way my Pocahontas Princess Signature Collection.
Only if you get Irene.
Let me go this way.
Are you set?
OBC is
The original Broadway cassette. Oh, and then did you level up to Tier 2?
go back and play Fontinas. Yes. Went after me for years to come back, and I finally did.
Dang it, Cameron McIntosh.
Just for a couple months.
And then some of your princess friends have also. Maybe Paige. Yeah, we'll have to confirm that with her.
Do you want me to write this to you?
I think so. Yes, and I was thinking maybe.
I'm in the way. Come on, Chris, you're going up.
Oh, it's Steve out today.
Well, I think Black would show up for this, but you know, you can do
Black will probably be best.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm Dylan. We were talking Les Mis. So you sang Cosette's part, and then you got into sing your mom's part.
Oh, so you're gonna do a selfie?
Sure. If you don't mind.
The final princess I was able to meet was Jodi Benson, and she signed this Aqua Fantasy Ariel doll for me, and this is a film premiere edition. There's other dolls. We chose the screen color because we figured it would pop, and also it was like with a paint marker, so like it will never dissolve into this. She was really worried about the texture of this box, like to see if this would stick or if this would actually like fade away. But so it says, to Dylan, Jodi Benson, Ariel. And I have to say her signature is the prettiest of them all. I mean, it seems like she's practiced it for a million years at this point, or you know, she's probably had to do this a lot. But Jody was a little reserved just on filming, so I wasn't able to film my interaction with her, which is fine. I totally respect that she didn't allow recording. That makes a lot of sense to me. You know, some people just don't feel comfortable with it. But we discussed the live action Little Mermaid, her cameo in it. We talked about her kids, Delaney and McKinley. I told her how much we loved her Instagram and how we always followed her wonderful family, and she was very appreciative. We took a selfie together, and you know, she said, "Did you like how it turned out?" And I said yes. So she was very kind, and she was very I guess patient with me in, you know, kind of explaining, you know, this is what color ink maybe you should use to sign, or this is where I want you to sign, or, you know, so she was very, very kind and very, very gentle, but she was very busy. I have to say, out of all 5, she was the most busiest. So on Saturday, I had 3 professional photo shoots done with the princesses, and these were extra things that of course you had to pay for, and they were very expensive. So I had a solo picture with Paige O'Hara, because she's my favorite. Then I had a picture with both Belles, Susan Egan and Paige O'Hara, and I was in the middle, so make it a Belle sandwich. And the most expensive of them all was an image of me with all 5 of the princesses that were there. And I have to say, it was so magical. I left that and I was like, did that really just happen? What am I gonna do? Like, I can't breathe, I have to walk away, and did I act like an idiot? And you know, all of those things running through your head. So it was just so fascinating and fun. And whenever I walked up there, Susan Egan was like, "Hello, where do you want to stand?" And you know, I had already seen Susan and Paige earlier because they did the group shot at the end. And she said, "Well, do you want to stand next to a mermaid, or do you want to stand next to a magic carpet ride?" And then Jodi Benson kind of looked at Paige, and Paige was like, "He has all of my old recordings. He's a really big fan of mine," like explaining all this to her. Like, this was happening really fast in my mind, by the way, but it must have been going at a slower rate because they were kind of agging me to move on. And Jody said, "Well, you belong over here next to Paige." So Paige was like, "Come over here." And so Paige kind of snuggled up next to me, and then Jody was over here, and then boom, it was done. But I was like, what a magical moment where they all kind of deciphered where you fit in. You know, that was really interesting. But they have a special 90's Con trapper for these images, and they give you digital downloads of them too, which I will be putting in this video. So worth it. I don't regret any penny of it. It was so expensive, but I don't regret it a bit. So the final moment that really bears discussion at 90's Con for me was a magical moment between me and Paige. But this came from me discussing with Melanie. So Melanie is someone who deals with a lot of Paige's artwork and also deals with like vendors at events, and they sell Disney merchandise, Disney items. Had a really good selection of cool stuff, but she and her husband does that. So her name is Melanie, and she's Chapter 3 Art on Instagram. Wonderful lady. I recognized her from Instagram because I'm like, "You're the Belle Paige O'Hara art lady. Like, you're the lady who's BFFs with Paige, and I'm jealous of you." And she's like, "Yeah, that's me." So of course we got to talking, and me and my friend Chris were there talking, and you know, she pulls out this lithograph of one of Paige's artworks for the Beauty and the Beast 25th anniversary, where it was kind of like a work in progress edition. So as you can see, it's kind of, she's messing with colors and just to see what's gonna work best. So I'm like, "Well, I kind of want one of those," and she had like 4 or 5 of them left, and I was like, "Well, I kind of want one," and she's like, "Well, you know, these aren't really made the same anymore." She was, you know, explaining to me that these are kind of different now, and there may not be as many in production. So I'm like, "Well, I kind of want one," so I bought one, and she was like, "Well, let's go talk to Paige." And I was like, okay. So Paige Paige is so thrilled to see that I bought this artwork from her, and I complimented her on it, and she was just so happy and ecstatic about it. And so of course she had to write something special for me. She said, well, how about Tale as Old as Time? And I was like, yeah, well, how about new and a bit alarming, and she was like, she cracked up and she's like, that's it, we'll go with that. And so she inscripted that on the bottom here, love you, Paige O'Hara, Belle. And then at that time, she proceeded to say, well, I don't even know what artwork I have here. And so she kind of just said, well, would you guys want to walk over and look at my artwork with me? And I was like, I would be honored, Paige, and so she told her little worker, her assistant, she'll be back at our booth later. And so we walked over to the art setting with Paige, and at some point she locked arms with me and was singing Belle, and we sang There Goes the Baker with his tray like always. We did that, and we discussed Rodgers and Hammerstein, we discussed Gershwin, Angela Lansbury came up. It also came up other Paige's artwork stuff, and that she was also good friends with basketball players and a big fan of basketball. So just such a wonderful moment. It was just more than I ever thought I would get from going to 90's Con. So that was just kind of the cherry on top. And and where from there do you go? There's nowhere else to peek. Well, everybody, that was my run through of 90's Con. I'm sure I missed a few little details here and there, but if you have any questions or comments, please put them down below and I will respond to them and let you know my thoughts on that. I'm still kind of processing it all with COVID brain, so that's probably why it's kind of PC to me for some reason. But what an enchanted, magical time, and I just have to say I'm so blessed that I got the honor to do this and meet these incredible people. But I hope you guys enjoyed my ranting about this. I hope this didn't go on too long. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you check out some other videos right now. And as always, stay tuned for the next one on my channel. See you guys. Bye.